Hello everyone and welcome back to STW Sports, and today I'm going to be grading every single Premier League club's transfer window summer 2020. Of course, this transfer window is a bit more difficult than usual because the transfer window ran longer and due to the coronavirus pandemic the financial effect it would have had on clubs. However, there still has been a lot of money spent around the Premier League as usual, so yeah, we'll crack straight on with it, going in alphabetical order. Arsenal A. I think this has been a really good transfer window for Arsenal, to be honest. The signings of Willian, Gabriel and Thomas Partey definitely have added something to this Arsenal squad that's been needed for a while. Willian's good energy that Arsenal could do with, even if they have already got Nicolas Pepe. Willian's been starting the game so far this season, which might be a sign of things to come. As for Gabriel, he's tightened up that defence in the early going. Arsenal fans will be hoping to see more of that. Gabriel has been impressive so far. And as for Partey, we haven't seen him play yet, but I can only see Partey being a good signing, to be honest. He's a holding midfielder Arsenal have lacked for years. I think he could be a difference maker in that midfield. Big signing for Arsenal, wrapping that one up on deadline day. Aston Villa, A+. Aston Villa, for me, have had a fantastic window, and I'm not just saying this because they beat Liverpool 7-2. I actually think this has been a superb window for Villa. Last summer they signed a lot, but they didn't sign the right players. This summer they've signed the right players. Ollie Watkins, Matty Cash, Emiliano Martinez and even Ross Barkley are good additions to Villa. Barkley adds that little something to the team, I think, as well. But they're keeping hold of Jack Grealish as well. All round, it's been a superb window for Aston Villa, in my opinion. And I think they'll have a good season this season. I don't think they'll be battling relegation because I think the transfers, they've got it spot on. Everything they needed, they've done. Fair play to Dean Smith at Villa as well for that. And yeah, hopefully, I think Villa could have a good season this time round. Brighton Hove Albion, C. I think Brighton haven't had the best window, to be honest. They've signed Adam Lallana from Liverpool. I think that's more for the dressing room and maybe for Lallana's beneficial of his career because he wasn't getting games at Liverpool. But I don't really see a lot in the other signings they've done. I don't really know the other signings they've made, though, to be honest, as in, don't know many of the players. So it's difficult for me to sit here and judge, really. But I mean, I think they've had an okay window, Brighton. They look promising early stages of the season. You know, they've got a good little team there. And yeah, I think Brighton could have a good season, but their transfer window certainly hasn't been anything to shout about. Burnley, D. Yeah, Burnley have probably had the worst window, probably in my opinion, in the Premier League. Certainly one of the worst ones. It's been a bad window for Burnley. A D's probably even being nice, to be honest with you. The only signing they've really made of note is Dale Stephens, and that's not really a lot. I mean, he's a good player for Sean Dyche because he suits Sean Dyche, but Burnley could be in trouble this season. I think that Sean Dyche's done a great job at Burnley. It goes under the radar how good he's done with pretty much no money in the last few years. Barely signed anyone. Let's be honest, he's done a good job there, and I think Burnley could be in trouble this season. This transfer window has been bad for them, and they've pretty much got the same team as last season. Yeah, not really a big fan of this Burnley window. I'm going to give it a D. I think that's being generous as well. Chelsea, A-. Again, this might seem a bit low for Chelsea fans, and I apologise, but the reason I say this is I'm not judging it just off the early going. I do think they haven't tightened up their defence enough. Yes, they've signed a goalkeeper in Mendy. Ben Chilwell's a good signing. I'm still not convinced on the centre-backs, though. I think Frank Lampard prioritised the attack a little bit too much over the window. Werner and Havertz, if they do work out eventually, will be great signings. There's no doubt about that. I think, obviously, that signed Pulisic this season, but he'll link up with them well when he comes back as well. Chelsea have signed well in certain areas, I think, but it's been a good window, but maybe not quite as good as what people think. We'll wait and see. That might be proved wrong and they might all be amazing, but I still think they've got flaws defensively, this Chelsea team. Crystal Palace, C+. Palace haven't really had that much of an eventful window. I mean, Ezra from QPR's a decent signing, and then Batshuayi on loan, which has happened in the past. Not a bad window, but certainly nothing to shout about for Palace. They've kept hold of Wilfried Zaha once again, something that never seems to be ending, really. Yeah, I think it's been an alright window for Palace. Nothing to shout about, though. It's been very standard, and I think they'll be alright this season, though, Palace. They'll have enough, I think, to be comfortably mid-table as usual. Yeah, I think they'll be okay, but I don't think they've done anything special. They're very much that sort of team now, Palace. Everton, A+. I mean, Everton, for me, have probably had the best transfer window out of anyone. I mean, to go from that midfield last season to this season, for me, is what wins it for them. I mean, Everton's midfield hasn't been that good for such a long time, so to go from that to Corre, Allen and James Rodriguez is quite something. Everton, for me, have had a very good window. The only place, if I'm being a little bit of a nitpick, could say defensively, but even that, they don't need that much of a defence. The midfield was their weakest part of their team, and they've certainly tightened that up this season in a big way. Everton could have a very good season. I think Everton can compete for top 4. Maybe not the title, but stranger things have happened. But yeah, don't quote me on that. I don't think Everton will compete for the title, though. But you just never know. Great window, though, for Everton. The most excited their fans have a right to be for a very long time, if not for the last 30-odd years. A very long time. Fulham, C-. Yeah, a lot of people might be expecting me to rank Fulham a little bit lower than this. Fulham haven't really made any additions that are that exciting, to be honest with you. I mean, Lamina on loan from Southampton's okay, I guess, in midfield. Lookman, and they had Knockout and Reed last season anyway. They've just signed them permanently. I don't really think it's that much to shout about Fulham. They're in big trouble this season, in my opinion. Their transfer window's not been a disaster, but certainly not been anything to shout about either. Leeds United, A. This has been a good window for Leeds. I mean, their signings on paper may not look amazing, but I think Bielsa signed well, though, to be honest with you. Leeds look promising at the start of the season. I think Bielsa is signing the right players. Rodri, he's quite similar to Bamford, but he will add something a little bit different to the team as well. And of course, you know, Koch at the back as well, who hasn't been great so far, but I still think he's not a bad signing. I think it's been a good window, and Harrison on loan from Man City as well. It's been a decent window for Leeds, and I think they'll be fine this season. I think an A is probably about right for them. Leicester City, C. Again, might seem a little bit low. Castagna looks good, that's for sure, and Fofana as well is a centre-back, but the reason I'm ranking it low is Leicester, I think they could have spent more than what they did. I mean, if I'm being picky, they haven't, in my opinion, they haven't, you know, their squad. I think I look at the Rory about that squad in Europe, the Thursday nights and everything. I don't think Leicester have got the squad. For me, the reason Leicester faded last season was due to having a weak squad. So, yeah, I'm going to say Leicester. It's not been a great window, and I do think second half of the season that will catch up with them as well, unless they sign in January. But I think they just haven't signed enough players, in my opinion. The quality's not been bad, but the quantity certainly hasn't been there. Liverpool, B+. I think this has been a pretty good window for Liverpool, to be honest with you, overall. A few weeks ago, I was saying that after the Leeds game, it could be a struggling season for them, but no, I think they've signed pretty well, actually. You know, Jota and Thiago are good signings. Thiago, I think, will be brilliant in the Premier League. He's a blessing for Liverpool in that midfield. It gives the midfield something different that Liverpool have needed for a long time. Great in possession, yeah. I think he'll boss the midfield in a lot of games, Thiago. As for Jota, he's a workhorse. He suits Jurgen Klopp down to the ground. They've also signed the Greek left-back to back up Robertson, so that's not too bad either. But I think Liverpool will be fine. Liverpool's window's been good, and I'm still backing Liverpool to win the league despite that humiliation at Aston Villa. Manchester City, B-. It's not been a bad window for City. Yeah, they've not started the season badly, but it's not been a great one either. I mean, there's been windows in the past where Pep spent the money spot on. I think he's improving the right areas with Man City, signed a few centre-backs, but has he got it spot on? I'm not too sure, really. I still think there might be a little something lacking in that defence. But, yeah, I mean, B- is about right. They've certainly not signed amazingly City, but they've signed well enough, though. Manchester United, C-. It's not been a great window for United. To not sign a centre-back, for me, is very bad, and I do think this will really cost them. Kind of goes back to the season under Mourinho a couple of years ago. Yeah, I don't see this being great for United, to be honest with you. Cavani, I don't even think... I mean, he could do all right, maybe, but I don't know. It's either going to be Zlatan or Falcao there. It's one or the other, but he's not going to be longevity anyway, so it's maybe not a great signing in the long run. I don't know with United. It's one of them things that I just don't... Yeah, I don't think it's been a good window for them. I do think they will struggle this season for it. I mean, I can't really recall... Van der Beek they don't really need. He's a good player, but I don't really think they need him too much. But, yeah, not great for them. Newcastle United, A. Yep, I'm ranking a Newcastle United transfer window as an A. I think this has been a very good window, though, for Newcastle. Callum Wilson is a very good signing. He'll add so many goals to the team that they lacked last season with Joe Linton. Ryan Fraser's a good player when he's on it as well. I think he's a big workhorse, and I do think he'll be good for the team. And even Jamal Lewis as well. Very good signing, in my opinion. I think this is a promising season ahead for Newcastle, actually. And nothing special, maybe mid-table, but yeah, then again, I ranked them 17th in my prediction, so I can't really say that now, can I? But yeah, still, fair play to Newcastle. It's been a good window for them. Can they keep it up? Let's wait and see. Sheffield United, B+. It's been a good window for Sheffield United in the end. Brewster and Ramsdale are pretty decent signings. Ramsdale hasn't started great. Sheffield United have had a bad start to the season, but their expectation of last season, it's unrealistic to expect they'll do that well this season, let's be honest. Let's not get carried away. It is unrealistic to expect that. But yeah, I'm going to say B+. Brewster is a good signing, and I do think he'll add goals up front, and he can really develop as a player at Sheffield. He did well out on loan at Swansea. He could do stuff at Sheffield as well. Promising season ahead, I think, for Brewster. And Sheffield United, not too bad. Not too bad a window. Southampton, B-. Again, Southampton have just had a very standard window, really, without doing anything special. I mean, Diallo's a replacement for Højbjerg, I guess. And then, of course, you got Walker Peters. So it's been an alright window for them. Nothing special. But as long as they've got Danny Ings, no doubt they'll keep scoring goals. So that's always a plus for them to manage to keep hold of him. Tottenham Hotspur, A-. When a few weeks ago you asked me, I'd have said Tottenham have had a pretty average window. But Matt Doherty's a good right back. But the way Sergio Aurier played last week, you know, even he might become a good right back as well. Højbjerg is a good holding midfielder and a very Jose Mourinho-like player. And Gareth Bale, if they can even get Bale to half the standard he was at, it'll be very good signing as well. What will Bale be like, though, is yet to be seen because he hasn't played regular football for a while. This could be a very good season for Tottenham if they get it right, but their window's certainly not been absolutely spectacular, but it's been a very, very good window for them at the same time, though. And I think Jose could do well there this season with them. Usually it's the second season, so we'll wait and see. West Bromwich Albion, D. Oh, it's not been a great window for West Brom. I mean, if they wanted to improve their team for Premier League quality, I don't really think they've done that. Underwhelming window. I think Bilic's men will struggle this season. They look promising going forward, but at the back, I think they're going to be far too open and letting way too many goals. I think this could be a struggling season for West Brom, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm going to rate it a D. Disappointing, but we'll wait and see, though. They might prove me wrong and they might do really well. West Ham United, D. West Ham United are actually in really good form at the moment, thanks to David Moyes being on Zoom as it goes. West Ham had 4-0 against Wolves, 3-0 away at Leicester. What a couple of results for them. But as for their transfer window, though, it's not been good. They've barely spent any money. It's been a poor window. Let's not get away from that. It's been an underwhelming window for West Ham. Even Mark Nobles came out and criticised the window as well. They sold that player to West Brom. Danganga, sorry. I was that player, Danganga, to West Brom. This not been a good window. Will West Ham do much? I think they'll be alright. They'll stay up this season, but I don't think they'll do anything special. It's been, underwhelming. And Wolverhampton Wanderers, B-. It's not been a bad window for Wolves. They have got rid of Jota and Doherty, but it's not been a bad window for them by any means. Fabio Silva and Nelson Semedo are decent signings. Interesting to see how Wolves do this season, really. They've started the season okay, but nothing special. 6 points out of 12. It's not too bad. It's better than what they started last season anyway. I think Wolves' this window has been decent, though. Nuno should probably be happy with it overall, but nothing special. But Wolves have got a very good team anyway. Didn't need to add too many players, especially not being in Europe. I think Wolves can do very well this season. But yeah, that is my ranking for every single Premier League club's transfer window. My grading, I should say. Yep, if you disagree with anything, please let me know in the comments below. As usual, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'm going to drop a prediction because England are about to play Belgium at 5 o'clock. I'm going to say England 1, Belgium 1. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think that's fair enough, I'd say. But yeah, that's my prediction for that game. But yeah, please like, subscribe, and I'll be back soon with more content and interviews. Thank you very much.